You're listening to a best of the Tom Anderson Show. It's a rerun, so phone lines are not open. Enjoy the show and keep it tuned to KVNT. This is the Tom Anderson Show, broadcasting live from the KVNT studios, 7 to 9 a.m., Monday through Friday.
Well, as we discussed coronavirus and COVID-19, we're hunkered down in the United States. And here at the Tom Anderson Show, every morning we're reporting from CNN to NBC to Fox News about what's going on domestically. We sprinkle on Europe and statistics from Asia, and with hopeful commitment, resolving the coronavirus and making sure we have a cure. Well, you think that's fine and dandy. So do I. In the meantime, the world continues to turn. And my friends, we've had this gentleman on before, Prime Minister of the East Turkistan Government in exile, Salih Hudayar, joins us. And there was more to what's going on in the world that you may realize. And reporting about Muslim camps, prisons, slave labor rapidly expanding in China, and the Uyghurs facing a tremendous, it's incomprehensible if you look at the details of what survivors and prisoners are expressing to the world. And I often think maybe they're not even going to resolve it because we're not paying attention. Prime Minister, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
Good. Well, why don't you give us a whole update, maybe the background, because it's very detailed stuff. I'll let you go through it, and you can explain what's going on and what you see for the future.
Perfect, thank you. As you know, the international community, the whole world is facing the coronavirus pandemic. This has caused the Chinese government to downplay its numbers in China, saying, the number of people that were affected and the number of people that have died. The latest intelligence reports show that, indeed China has downplayed its numbers. But more disturbingly, the Chinese government has been forcibly transferring tens of thousands of Uyghurs and other Turkic peoples from East Turkistan into Chinese provinces, into these factories to be used as slave labor. In fact, the Australian Strategic Policy Institute launched a report last month, in which they found that over 80,000 Uyghurs and other Turkic people had been transferred into factories for companies producing products for companies like Apple, Huawei, Samsung, H&M, Zara, BMW, Volkswagen, and so forth.
And to that end, do you think that commerce is compelling the United States not to get involved? I mean, let's get into the numbers so people understand. The underlying premise, because the public driving this morning, heading to work, or that will listen to this on audio online, they may not know the background. What's happening is Uyghurs are being subjugated. What's a Uyghur? So people understand. It's a difficult one when you look at the spelling and then how to pronounce it. But what is a Uyghur, and where are they located?
So the Uyghurs are an ethnically Turkic people that are native to East Turkestan. East Turkestan is the region, it was an independent country prior to 1949, but it was invaded and occupied by China and renamed to Xinjiang, meaning the new territory. For the past 70 years, China has been colonizing East Turkestan and engaging in genocide against the Uyghurs and other Turkic peoples.
Yeah, you're not going to find me pronouncing that correctly. We'll need Dr. Oz, by the way, who's Turkish, who we listen to quite often on the show for that help. So the nexus then to what the Chinese have done in subjugation of your peoples, in concert with, or lack thereof, commerce, is that we continue to do business. We've interviewed so many folks about China, from General Spalding to analysts, to lawmakers, state, federal lawmakers who say, don't trust China, whether it's COVID-19 numbers or how kind or not they are to Uyghurs and your kinsmen, they can't be trusted. And so is that the issue, that we shouldn't be economically tied to China because of the lack of trust, let alone because of the carnage to your people? Is it that simple, or is it deeper than that?
I mean, on the face front, I mean, it is that simple. I mean, we shouldn't be dealing with China economically at all. In fact, we are making China rich and more powerful by buying their products. And what is China using that money for? I mean, if they spent it for, improving the world or improving human rights or developing their country like most other countries, that would be great. But no, China is actually using this to build aircraft carriers, anti-aircraft missiles, all these other things, aircraft carrier killer missiles. They're using this to oppress people, to really challenge the United States, because the United States is the biggest challenge for China. It's the only competitor that China sees that will stop it from achieving its ambitious Chinese dream, which is eventually global domination. But there, because of politics, because there are some companies, and everything, politics is driven by economics. Because of this, our government has not been. When I mean our government, I mean the United States government and the international world governments have not been able to respond in an effective manner to put an end to this genocide.
3 quick questions more for Prime Minister Salih Hudayar. First is, with regard to the coronavirus epidemic and crimes against humanity, we look at what's happening with forced labor specifically there. How many would you say of your brothers and sisters are succumbing to this this penal system, this where they're literally enslaved? Do you have numbers, statistics annually?
Yes, but the U.S. Department of Defense stated back in May 2019 that it was at least 1 million, but more likely 3 million people in concentration camps. But if we look at, if we add the number of people that are in the prisons, the labor camps, the number of people that have been detained is well over 5 million.
And then the second question, you were elected as Prime Minister of East Turkistan Government in exile. What does that mean? Does that mean at some point you'll be able to go back and fulfill your prime ministerial role? Or is that ceremonial because you're in exile and China's not going to give it up?
Well, one day, we hope that we are striving to regain our independence. So we hope that we will return to East Turkestan. And so my main duty here is to inform the international community about the situation in East Turkestan, and to seek support and assistance.
And that's the final question. We're talking with Prime Minister Salih Hudayar. And what's the best way someone can help you listening to this interview? If they want to help, I would presume online, but is it following your Facebook page? Is it online? Is it a newsletter? Is it donations? Is it all of those things?
I mean, they can. All of the above will help. Everything that you just mentioned. We ask listeners to follow us on Twitter at @ETAwakening. To visit our website at nationalawakening.org.
Okay, well, Prime Minister Salih Hudayar, it is always a pleasure to converse with you. Sadly, not just with COVID-19, but with the carnage that's occurring there, and what you're seeing with the forced labor camps. You said between 1 million and 3 million of your, as I mentioned, brothers and sisters, maybe family, nearly incarcerated. My prayers are with you. I hope having you on shows like this, especially regionally, thanks to Maria, I hope it brings attention to the issue, and I hope people will not just follow you and like posts, but maybe donate and support financially. And we look forward to having you back again with an update, and I hope it's better in the future.
Thank you. God bless.
Hey, thank you. God bless you too. Prime Minister Salih Hudayar. We try to get some international flavor on this show. Sadly, sometimes it's not with the best content, because when you look at the Uyghurs, and I've heard Uyghurs and I've heard Uyghurs, I can't pronounce it as thoughtfully as he does, but East Turkistan, this national awakening, it's a real deal. And it's carnage like we've seen in Sudan and Venezuela and other places. So don't just say a prayer for them, support them. Tom Anderson Show.